Hear me out. I'm Dee.
I'm E.
And today's episode is going to be about the royal family and an interesting position that they're looking for. I wonder if it's on LinkedIn. We'll find out. So, how William and Kate's search for a royal CEO could change the monarchy. According to Vanity Fair, earlier this month, the global executive recruitment firm Odgers Berndsen posted a job opportunity it called, with a bit of understatement, unique. The company's website listed a job title that set off alarm bells for royal watchers: CEO to Their Royal Highnesses, the Prince and Princess of Wales. The ad, laden with the of the moment corporate recruitment jargon, calls for someone low ego who will display emotional intelligence and be a servant leader. They will be responsible for development and implementation of the Royal Highness's long-term strategy and continuing to strengthen a professional and collaborative household culture, it states. They should be an aspiring internal champion who will energize others with positivity, enthusiasm, and ambition. The public listing, the palace later confirmed, is authentic. Essentially, Prince William and Princess Kate are looking for someone new to run their household and manage its 60-person staff. In the simplest formulation, the new hire will be a palace version of the CEO role at the Royal Foundation of the Prince and Princess of Wales, the umbrella group for the couple's charitable endeavors. In 2022, they hired experienced hand, longtime BAFTA executive Amanda Berry to oversee the organization. It makes sense that they might want someone with similar experience as their household CEO, which explains why they have engaged a recruitment firm with a track record in the nonprofit sphere.
In the Telegraph, Camilla Tominey reported that the new listing isn't a simple change in the nomenclature for the private secretary, a royal's tradition second in command. Instead, both William and Kate will hold on to their private secretaries and full press team, who will then report to the new CEO. They're trying to sound all official. Couple already having separated their back office staff that from King Charles III and Queen Camilla in the wake of the Ascension last year, and seeking to restructure the household even further, with one source per the Telegraph suggesting that they are keen to borrow the best practice from the private sector. For nearly 2 centuries, the links between the royal principals and their private secretaries have been inviolable. In his 2022 biography of the Duke of Kent, Hugo Vickers provided a succinct summary of the traditional role of the private secretary as running the formal and official life of the member of a royal family, which includes handling their correspondence, interacting with their charity patronages, and planning their royal engagements. On the surface, the job is a bit like a personal assistant, and you will occasionally see a private secretary holding onto a purse or a gift on an engagement. But the job is also extremely powerful. Ultimately, private secretaries act as gatekeepers for their bosses, choosing who gets access and channeling their interactions with other nodes of the palace apparatus. For the hierarchy, the palace has long been remarkably decentralized, with principals and secretaries fighting for resources and space on the front pages of newspapers. That helps explain why it is so prone to leaking.
Jeez, that's insane. I think it's interesting that they're utilizing the term CEO.
That's a butler. A butler and a personal secretary and a personal assistant all in one. But that you know how jobs sometimes be hyping you up and giving you this title, but then you're like an executive assistant. That's what it is. They're an executive assistant
Yeah.
to the Duke and the Prince and Princess of
Yeah.
Wales now.
Yeah. I mean, that's essentially what it sounds like. And I think that with them kind of wanting to, modernize things and seem like a little bit more of like a business entity or whatever, it could help them, with maybe also kind of like uh, deviating from some things, having someone else, handle certain aspects of things, or or just having, one person, kind of overseeing everything as compared to how they each have their own personal secretaries, they each have their own, teams and all that stuff. So I can see how that can be a little bit like beneficial to just have, one person that really just oversees it all and delegates, properly for them maybe. Um, and then, yeah, probably also helps to manage all of the leaks to the press and everything because the press sure does get a lot of leaks that, come from the
I'm
top.
just surprised that they have, 60, you know, employed people working for them.
Yeah,
Like who does what at this point? I feel like there's some redundancy there.
there's gotta be. There's gotta be. Because, okay, and so then, essentially, like, this CEO is also going to be a handler, for
Mhm.
all of these different people because I don't know. I don't know. It just, I think, in some ways, a lot of the reason why some people still, like the monarchy or enjoy the royal family is because it's a family, right? Um,
Mhm.
this, is kind of veering into more of the private sector, right? Like they mentioned, and more of a business entity and all that. So, that can kind of take away from some of the personal aspects that kind of, denote the whole family theme from it all. So I don't know. I don't know if that's really going to like be in the best interest going forward, especially if I mean they're the future, right? Like I mean, William is first in line to the throne, so who knows? Maybe this is their way of kind of preparing for the roles that they're going to have someday, and kind of finding a way to manage all of that because I mean it's gonna be even crazier when the time comes for them, I guess.
I would think that you would downsize at this point, just to avoid the leaks, even though you probably want some leaks.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. But I don't know. I mean, one of the things that like is interesting to me as far as like this whole job posting is that certain other royals that I'm not going to bother naming are looked down upon because they kind of went into a more businessy kind of, venture. And it was like, oh my God, the worst thing they could have possibly done. But now here are, William and Kate doing something similar. And it's like, oh yeah, no, this is great. This is needed. This is totally needed for
I don't think it's great.
some
I
people do,
just,
I
I
guess.
mean, I guess I don't get the role, to be honest. I think they're hyping it up. They're still going to have the same problems that they do. And just making it a little bit more businessy is not going to solve those issues.
I feel
And
like
what are the issues? Just the
with
leaks?
no, it's not just the leaks. There's got to be more to it. I just don't think that they're going to like. Obviously, they're never going to mention it, right? But there's got to be something that they're trying to kind of work at.
Mhm.
Um,
Do you think that there's a person that keeps tabs on the brother, the spare, and the Duchess?
definitely,
That's a job I want. I mean, let me tell you what they doing over there. Do we say across the pond, like
that's
back?
fun.
Let
Oh,
me tell you, okay? Your brother is acting a fool, or he behaving. Either or. I'm not shading Prince Harry over here, but that's
well,
a job I want.
well, okay. So something that like I came across recently kind of touched on how like you know, William and Kate haven't really done too many engagements outside of the country this year, I think is what they said. But they counted the visit that William did, I think, to New York as a royal engagement, which is odd considering that America is not part of the Commonwealth. America is not, part of the kingdom.
Hmm.
Um, so there's kind of like people basically saying that, this is just kind of their way to get a foothold into America to then, kind of also become a little bit more popular in some of these spaces, and just on a business level also get like their foot in the door with that. So then a royal CEO would kind of like help manage that, I suppose, if they are trying to expand in different ways, because obviously like a lot of the countries in the Commonwealth are trying to no longer be a part of, the kingdom or whatnot.
Hmm.
Like Barbados did, what, 2 years ago, I think. And there's been, other countries kind of wanting to do the same thing. And if you think about it, like in the last few years, when they did their, like, I don't know if it was last year, maybe, when William and Kate did their whole tour of like the islands and everything, it didn't go so well for them. They weren't really received so warmly. And, I think a lot of that stems from people feeling like they're done with the monarchy. And William and Kate aren't exactly, representative in some spaces as a better option. They're just more of the same. So
Hmm.
maybe this royal CEO can kind of help to shift that mentality to, less royals, more of like a business entity, and people can find a business entity more palatable than a monarchy. I don't know.
I guess that's a new way of seeing it. I
Yeah.
just think that maybe the title. I'm hung up on the title. I feel like the title could confuse maybe new followers.
Yeah.
People sometimes don't understand the hierarchy of it all. Maybe
Right.
I'm generalizing, of course. You know, king, prince, princess, royal CEO. I think that's very like where do you fall? Prime minister. Like it's just it's like kind of weird. You
Yeah.
know, so.
I think that's just for like their little
Mhm.
office thing. So,
I mean, but realistically, Charles is going to be there, let's say 20 years or less, you know.
dang.
I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not wishing anything, on him, but I'm just saying that, once William takes over, hopefully, he's going to reign longer
Yeah.
than his dad, or at least that's what's projected,
Right.
So
Right.
this royal CEO concept is going to last a longer period of time.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Hmm.
so then maybe it is that it's kind of like a preparation in a way for what's to come, and trying to kind of get ahead of some things,
Hmm.
because there is a lot of anti-monarchy sentiment, not just in England but in the Commonwealth. And like I know in Australia there's been different, at different points in time, there's been different, talks of wanting to also not have the sovereign as their sovereign and all that. So who knows, like a lot can happen in in the coming years and everything.
Hmm.
But I feel like the Waleses are trying to find their footing, because now, okay, so I guess my last point, the what?
I said the pressure's on.
The pressure's on, yeah. So that's literally my last thought. My last comment is, before Queen Elizabeth passed, William was second in line. William and Kate were just seen as this lovable, adorable young family, like the new royals, the modern royals, all of that. They're no longer fitting that sort of role anymore,
Hmm.
because now, like you said, the pressure's on. So now they have responsibility on them that wasn't so heavy before. Um, the queen enjoyed a long reign, and in most of it she was beloved, and people had a lot of respect for her. The sentiment towards Charles is not the same as it is for his, or for his mom, is what it was. And so William, he has also long enjoyed, a lot of love, and people, also loving his little family. But Now it's definitely like, okay, here we
Yeah.
go. Like, plus it doesn't help some of like the negative headlines, some of the negative press about, different things. So I think it's all just preparation, honestly, for
Yeah, I
what's
was about to say the same thing. It doesn't help that, he's having issues with family members and
yeah,
things like that. So
yeah.
I don't know. I want to see what this royal CEO does,
You
to
are not gonna let that go.
no, because I have a thing about glorified positions. It's like my pet peeve. Like if you're just an executive assistant, just say that. Like you just call it what it is. It's fine. In essence, an executive assistant is supposed to understand a business thoroughly because they're like right under the CEO. The CEO,
Right.
of course, knows all the business. So I'm happy with that. But a CEO, like I want to see, basically, I just want to see what's going to happen, what's going to go down. Are they going to, cut some people loose?
Yeah,
Are we going to see less headlines from the British press? Or are we going to see more because they're trying to feed us this certain info or this certain narrative, which
right.
whatever kind of narrative it might be, positive or negative, about themselves, about other people. So
Yeah.
I'm just curious. That's all.
Well, I mean, y'all stay tuned for part two when they announce who it is, because we're gonna tell y'all who it is too.
But let us
Yeah.
know in the comments what you guys think about this royal CEO. Is it going to help the Waleses, the future monarchy, or is this just an executive assistant just taking over? Is just being in charge of extra people and just in their beck and call, kind of thing. Obviously we don't live over there, so I would be very interested in, people's
Yeah.
thoughts. But that concludes today's video. Stay tuned for part two whenever that comes.
Right, whenever that
If
goes.
you haven't already done so, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also, please share our video and subscribe again. We're trying to grow our community so your friends could be our friends. We can all be friends. Just help us out, please. We also have social media, which they'll tell you about.
We are on Instagram and TikTok at Hear Me Out DNE. So make sure you guys follow, like, share, and comment. We love interacting with y'all.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.